The Battle of Britain refers to Nazi Germany's attempt to seize air superiority over England and break the morale of the British people. Right after a Luftwaffe victory, Hitler intended to launch Operation Sea Lion, an invasion plan that aimed to land German troops on British soil and then advance toward London to cut it off from the rest of the country. Had this succeeded, Britain would have been defeated, and Germany would have gained access to the resources and strategic advantages tied to the British Empire's positions in India and Canada. Germany wouldn't need to split its forces across two fronts and could pursue its broader ambitions freely. But none of this happened, and in this video, we will unravel why. Britain and France were the first to declare war on the Third Reich after the invasion of Poland. The Franco-British army took up positions behind the heavily fortified Maginot Line, while German forces gathered along the Siegfried Line. For the next 7 months, neither side launched major ground offensives. Only small-scale skirmishes took place along the border, while both armies remained shielded by their defensive systems. This period would go down in history as the Phony War, which the German command used as a strategic pause. During this time, Germany completed its campaign in Poland, seized Denmark and Norway, and prepared for its western offensive. On July 11th, Grand Admiral Erich Raeder, commander-in-chief of the Kriegsmarine, told Hitler that an invasion of Britain should be considered only as a last resort and only if Germany secured clear air supremacy. The German Navy had taken severe losses in Norway, making it unrealistic for the Wehrmacht to land troops on British shores without suffering catastrophic casualties. The only viable counter to the Royal Navy would be extensive use of dive bombers in torpedo aircraft, and for this, the Luftwaffe would first need to dominate the skies. Although Hitler agreed with Raeder, on July 16th, he still ordered preparations for an invasion plan that would be known as Operation Sea Lion, scheduled for mid-September 1940. The plan called for landing German forces on the southern coast under heavy air cover. However, no one believed the invasion could succeed without first neutralizing the Royal Air Force. Britain's RAF had existed as an independent military branch since 1918. By the end of World War I, Britain had developed one of the most advanced, centralized air defense systems in the world after facing raids by Zeppelins and long-range bombers. Tens of thousands of seasoned pilots served in the RAF, but within 2 years, most of them would be discharged due to peacetime reductions. Still, the rapid militarization of Germany forced Britain into urgent rearmament. New aircraft were designed and ordered in the thousands, and flight schools expanded rapidly. Between 1935 and 1937, Britain more than doubled its aircraft numbers. In late 1935, the prototype of the Hurricane fighter took to the air, and in March the following year, the legendary Spitfire flew for the first time, a beautifully engineered high-performance aircraft with excellent visibility and maneuverability. The Hurricane, on the other hand, had a thicker wing and was armed only with machine guns, leading many to view it as outdated, but during the Battle of Britain, it proved surprisingly resilient to cannon fire from German aircraft. Before the war, Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding built Britain's air defense network from scratch. The entire country was divided into groups and sectors. A chain of radar stations and observation posts along the coastline detected enemy aircraft. Operators placed markers on plotting tables showing the type, altitude, and number of enemy planes. Thanks to this system, RAF avoided constant exhausting patrols. Fighter squadrons could remain on the ground until precise information arrived from command centers. Meanwhile, since 1936, German pilots were gaining combat experience in Spain during the Civil War, testing new aircraft and refining tactics. However, several mistakes made there would later cost them dearly over Britain. In Spain, the Luftwaffe did not need tight radio coordination, as their bombers could easily evade outdated biplane fighters. Even the transport Junkers 52s required little escort. The Luftwaffe had ordered the modern Bf 109 fighter back in 1935, but the rushed and improvised planning they relied on in other campaigns proved disastrous when facing Britain, a battle that required flawless coordination between air, naval, and ground forces. One major miscalculation was the massive underestimation of Britain's aircraft production. German intelligence claimed Britain produced around 180 to 130 fighters per month, but in reality, by mid-1940, production was closer to 450. July and mid-August 1940 saw sporadic clashes over the English Channel. The Luftwaffe bombed Britain at night, laid mines, and sent Bf-109s to hunt RAF fighters. But British command refused to commit its full fighter reserves despite losses and exhaustion. British pilots adopted German tactics, operating in pairs and fours, closing in at much shorter firing distances for maximum effect. The Germans, however, couldn't settle on a single strategy for victory. They alternated between bombing cities, attacking radar stations, and striking forward airfields. Intelligence failures meant they repeatedly misidentified targets and grossly underestimated RAF strength. On August 13th, the Luftwaffe flew nearly 1,500 sorties in a single day, the RAF about half that number. The Germans claimed 84 aerial victories, the British 64, but in reality, British fighters shot down 34 German aircraft at a cost of 13 of their own. Both sides sought to drain the other's experienced pilot pool. German fighters shot at RAF pilots parachuting over British soil, and British aircraft targeted Luftwaffe seaplanes rescuing downed German airmen from the Channel. On September 7th, after a small British raid on Berlin, the Luftwaffe unleashed a massive attack on London. Waves of 318 bombers devastated the city, killing nearly 500 civilians. But September 15th marked the Luftwaffe's last major attempt to break British resistance. Over 200 German bombers escorted by fighters attacked London in 3 waves, but over 300 Hurricanes and Spitfires intercepted them. Strong winds and poor conditions caused bombs to fall wildly off target. Over 1,000 German aircraft were deployed that day, but they failed to achieve decisive results, and German bombers suffered crushing losses. Around a quarter of all aircraft sent into battle were destroyed or heavily damaged. Within a week, Germany lost nearly 300 aircraft, compared to about 120 British fighters. By early October, the Luftwaffe had fewer than 300 operational fighters left, making further attempts to gain air supremacy impossible. Air raids on Britain continued throughout the war, but none matched the intensity of the Battle of Britain. Many historians consider it the first major defeat of Nazi Germany and a turning point in World War II. The Luftwaffe made too many critical mistakes, and thanks to the bravery of RAF pilots, the efforts of engineers and builders, and the strength of Britain's air defense network, the invasion never took place and Operation Sea Lion was abandoned.